You ever wonder what the Bible talks about, what the Bible says about evolution, right? The reason they come up with the theory of evolution is they have their parameters mixed up. They have their priorities all screwed up because they discover creatures, they discover things, and they discover the earth is much older than what the Bible says, right? So if they're taking that measuring stick based off the Bible and comparing it to the actual world, then yes, there is, some kind of discrepancies, right?
So of course, centuries ago, people believed that the earth and the animals and plants in it had been created by a supernatural deity, rather as is depicted in this illustration from Luther's Bible from 1530s. A century later, Archbishop Usher from Ireland tried to estimate the age of the earth by counting the number of generations of particular people named in the Bible. He came up with an age of about 6,000 years for the age of the earth. But of course, there are things in the earth called fossils. Fossils have always been known. They're not new. Even the ancient Greeks and Romans knew about fossils, and they explained them as the remains of the giants and monsters from their mythology. And that got him to think very seriously for the first time, how could an object, part of a dead animal, like a tooth, become embedded in the middle of a rock? I mean, shark's tooth was once in the sea. Well, he discovered various things about stratigraphy. That is, that in places in the earth where the rocks are sedimentary, they began as mud or silt and settled in a horizontal fashion at the bottom of a sea or a lake. And that any hard objects that fell in that mud would slowly be buried. And if more and more sediment accumulates on top, eventually those layers become compacted and they become shale or sandstones. But one of the important revelations of this work, of course, is that means that layers settle sequentially on top of each other, which means that the lower layers are older and the upper layers are newer. And thus it was possible to start to unlock the mysteries of the history of the earth. He said that this sort of thing showed that the earth must be practically, from our perspective, eternal. It is unimaginably ancient.
And God called the dry land earth, and he gathered together all the waters called he seas, and God saw that it was good. Now notice how God took the water and gathered it in one place. And then the earth, the dry land appeared. Otherwise, the dry land that was underneath the earth came up. It arose, it appeared. That's because the earth existed prior to the Garden of Eden. God created an earth that was here before Adam. Yep, I said it. I haven't lost my mind. There was an earth, there was animals and creatures that lived here on the earth, that inhabited the earth before Adam. Okay, case in point. Genesis, we're still in creation, right? Genesis 1 and 28. Genesis 1 and 28. And God blessed them and said unto them, he's talking about Adam and Eve, right? God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Notice how he said, and replenish the earth. See, you can't replenish something that hasn't already been filled. You can only plenish or fill, let's look at the definition of replenish. Replenish, to fill something up again, to restore or stock or supply to a former level of condition. So why did God say replenish the earth? Why? Because at one point the earth was already plenished